The house is sold, Steve. I've moved on. Don't try to find me. That's what the note said when I came home from a red-eye flight and found my key didn't work in my own front door. My wife Mattie had vanished, our furniture was gone, and the home I paid for with my inheritance had been sold without my knowledge. But she made one critical mistake. She underestimated what a good lawyer could uncover. What happened next turned her perfect escape plan into a legal nightmare she never saw coming. Viewers, before we continue, please subscribe, like, and share. My name is Steve Jones. I'm a 38-year-old commercial pilot based out of Denver, Colorado. For the past 12 years, I've been flying regional routes, sometimes gone 4 days a week, sometimes home for stretches that feel too short. My wife Mattie and I bought our home in the suburbs 6 years ago. Well, I bought it. My inheritance from my late father covered the down payment, and my salary handled every mortgage payment since. Mattie always said she'd contribute once her business took off, but that day never came. I pulled into the driveway after a red-eye from Phoenix, exhausted, craving my own bed. The house looked the same, 2-story colonial, white shutters, the maple tree we planted together still standing in the front yard. But when I tried my key in the front door, it didn't turn. I jiggled it. Nothing. I tried again, harder. The lock had been changed. My chest tightened. I called Mattie. No answer. I texted, "Why doesn't my key work?" The message sat undelivered for 5 minutes. Then, read. No response. I walked around back. The sliding door was locked too, but through the glass I could see boxes stacked in the living room. Our furniture was half gone. The couch, missing. The coffee table I built with my own hands, gone. I pressed my face to the glass, heart hammering. On the kitchen counter sat a manila envelope with my name written in Mattie's handwriting. The sun was just rising, casting long shadows through the empty rooms. I felt cold, like I was watching my life from outside my body. Instructed. 2:28. I called a locksmith. 45 minutes and $200 later, I was inside my own house. The air smelled stale, like no one had been there in days. I grabbed the envelope and tore it open. Inside, a single-page letter, typed. No greeting. Just cold, clinical sentences. Steve, by the time you read this, the house has been sold. I've moved on. The money from the sale will help me start fresh. You'll be contacted by the title company. Don't try to find me. I read it 3 times. My hands shook. Sold? How could she sell a house I paid for? I pulled out my phone and called our mortgage lender. The automated system confirmed. Account closed, paid in full. I hung up and immediately dialed our real estate agent, Tom, the guy who helped us buy this place. Steve. Hey man, long time. What's up? Tom. Did you help Mattie sell our house? Pause. I didn't handle that one, but I heard through the grapevine she listed it a few weeks ago. Sold fast too. Cash buyer. Cash buyer? Tom, that's my house. I'm on the deed. Another pause, longer this time. Steve, are you sure? Because I heard she was the sole owner. Maybe you should check the county records. I hung up. Sole owner? That was impossible. I bought that house. My name was on everything. Wasn't it? I sat on the floor in the empty living room, staring at the walls. The late morning light cut sharp angles across the hardwood. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a memory surfaced. Mattie asking me to sign some papers 2 years ago. Just refinancing stuff, she'd said. Easier if I handle it while you're flying. I'd signed without reading. I trusted her. I drove straight to a lawyer's office in downtown Denver, Mitchell & Crane, a firm my co-pilot once recommended during a messy divorce case. The receptionist squeezed me in. Within an hour, I was sitting across from a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s named Laura Crane. I handed her the letter, explained everything. She listened, took notes, then pulled up the county property records on her computer. Her face darkened. "Mr. Jones, according to this, your wife executed a quitclaim deed 18 months ago. You signed over your ownership rights to her." "I never signed anything like that." She turned the monitor toward me. There it was, my signature. Below it, a notary stamp. I remembered that day now. Mattie had a notary come to the house. "Just routine refinancing paperwork," she'd said. I was packing for a 3-day trip to Seattle. I signed in a hurry. Laura's expression was grim. "This is fraud, but proving it will be complicated. However, there's something else." She clicked through more records. The house sold for $680,000. But here's the kicker. The buyer is listed as an LLC, Riverside Holdings. And guess who's registered as the managing member? She showed me the business filings. My blood went cold. Ryan Cole. Mattie's old boss from the marketing firm she worked at 3 years ago. I'd met him twice, once at a company barbecue, once at a holiday party. Tall, cocky, always too familiar with Mattie. She'd quit that job suddenly, said the environment was toxic. Now I understood why. So she sold my house to her lover? Laura nodded. And funneled the money through his LLC. Clever. Keeps it looking like a legitimate business transaction. Laura Crane didn't waste time. She filed an emergency motion to freeze the sale and obtained a court order for Mattie's financial records. Within 2 days, we had access to her bank statements, credit card bills, and email correspondence with the title company. What we found made my stomach turn. Mattie hadn't just sold the house. Over the past 18 months, she'd systematically drained our joint savings, $43,000, and funneled it into a separate account I never knew existed. Every time I deposited my paycheck, she'd transfer small amounts, $500 here, $800 there, always just under the threshold that would trigger alerts. But the emails were worse. She'd been planning this for 2 years. Messages between her and Ryan Cole dated back to a spring weekend in 2024, when I was flying a charter to Miami. Subject lines like exit strategy and new beginnings. One email, sent 3 months ago, read, "Ryan, I'm done pretending. Steve's never here. He doesn't see me. The house is the last piece. Once it's sold, I'm free." Ryan's reply, "We'll buy it through the LLC. Clean. Untraceable. Then we're gone." Laura printed everything. This is wire fraud, possibly mail fraud, and definitely grounds for a civil suit. But Steve, I have to ask, did you ever suspect? I thought back. The late-night phone calls Mattie would take in the garage. The weekend trips to visit her sister in Albuquerque. Her sister who, I later learned, hadn't seen Mattie in over a year. The new lingerie I found once, tag still on, that she never wore around me. I'd suspected. I just didn't want to believe it. Laura advised me to stay calm, gather evidence, and avoid direct confrontation. But I couldn't help myself. I needed to see Mattie's face, hear her try to explain this. I hired a private investigator, a gruff ex-cop named Bill who charged $150 an hour. Within 48 hours, he had Mattie's new address, a luxury condo in Cherry Creek, one of Denver's most expensive neighborhoods. Rent, $4,200 a month. She was living there with Ryan Cole. Bill also tailed them. Photos showed Mattie and Ryan grocery shopping, laughing at brunch, walking hand-in-hand through Washington Park. In one picture, she wore a diamond bracelet I'd never seen before. Ryan had his arm around her waist. I sat in my car outside that condo one Thursday evening, waiting. The sun set behind the high-rises, painting the sky blood orange. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. At 7:15 p.m., they walked out together. Mattie wore a black dress, heels, her hair styled the way she used to do for our anniversary dinners. Ryan opened the passenger door of a silver Audi for her. They didn't see me. I followed them to a steakhouse downtown, the Capitol Grill, the same place Mattie and I celebrated my promotion to captain 5 years ago. I parked across the street and watched through the window as they ordered wine, clinked glasses, leaned across the table to kiss. I pulled out my phone. Texted Mattie, "We need to talk. I know everything." She glanced at her phone. Her face went pale. She showed Ryan. He said something, squeezed her hand. She typed back, "There's nothing to talk about. Move on, Steve." I got out of the car. I walked into that steakhouse with my heart pounding, adrenaline drowning out rational thought. The hostess tried to stop me. "Sir, do you have a reservation?" But I brushed past her. Mattie saw me first. Her eyes widened. Ryan turned, his smug expression faltering. "Steve," Mattie started. "Don't." I pulled out a chair, sat down uninvited. A few nearby tables glanced over. "You sold my house." "It wasn't your house anymore," Ryan said, voice low, trying to sound authoritative. "Legally, Mattie owned it. We did everything by the book." "By the book?" I laughed, hollow. "You mean fraud? Forged quitclaim deed? Draining joint accounts?" Mattie's jaw tightened. "I didn't forge anything. You signed those papers. You lied about what they were. You should have read them." The words hit like a slap. Around us, the restaurant had gone quiet. I leaned forward. "Why, Mattie? 12 years. I gave you everything." Her eyes glistened, but not with regret, with anger. "You gave me an empty house, Steve. You were never there. I was alone for years while you flew all over the country, living your dream. I got tired of waiting. So you stole from me? Ran off with him?" Ryan stood up. "I think you should leave. I think you should shut your mouth before I make you." The words came out colder than I intended. A manager approached. "Gentlemen, please." I stood, locked eyes with Mattie one last time. "You'll hear from my lawyer." I walked out into the cool night air, shaking. Behind me, I heard Ryan say, "He's bluffing." Laura Crane moved fast. Within a week, she'd filed a lawsuit against Mattie Steve and Ryan Cole for fraud, conversion, and unjust enrichment. The emergency motion to freeze the house sale was granted. The title company halted the transfer of funds. Ryan's LLC, Riverside Holdings, was named as a co-defendant. But Laura had something else up her sleeve. "Steve, I did some digging into Ryan Cole's business. Riverside Holdings isn't just some shell company. He's been using it to flip properties for years. But here's the interesting part. He's also under investigation by the IRS for unpaid taxes. And guess what? The $680,000 from your house sale? It's sitting in an account that's about to be frozen by federal agents." I blinked. "So even if they wanted to keep the money, they can't touch it." Laura smiled. "And there's more. Ryan Cole is married." My jaw dropped. "What?" "His wife filed for separation 2 months ago. She's claiming half of all marital assets, including any properties or funds acquired during their marriage. That includes your house." It was perfect. Mattie thought she was running away with Ryan into some fairy tale. Instead, she'd walked into a legal minefield. Laura continued. "We're also subpoenaing Ryan's emails. If we can prove he knowingly participated in defrauding you, he's facing criminal charges." Within days, Ryan's lawyer contacted us. He wanted to settle. Fast. The trap had sprung shut. Everything Matty and Ryan built together was collapsing. Laura scheduled the settlement meeting for the following week. I could barely sleep, imagining their faces when they realized how completely they'd lost. We met in a conference room at Laura's office. Me, Laura, Matty, Ryan, and their respective lawyers. The air was thick with tension. Matty wouldn't look at me. Ryan kept checking his phone. Laura laid out the terms. Matty would return the full $680,000 from the house sale, plus the $43,000 she'd drained from our accounts, plus penalties and legal fees. Total, $780,000. In exchange, we wouldn't press criminal charges. Matty's lawyer, a tired-looking man in a wrinkled suit, tried to negotiate. My client doesn't have that kind of money. Then she'll liquidate assets, Laura said coolly. Jewelry, vehicles, whatever it takes. Ryan shifted in his seat. This is insane. I'm not paying for her mistakes. Laura slid a folder across the table. These are your emails, Mr. Cole. The ones where you explicitly planned to defraud my client. You're equally liable. So unless you want the DA to get involved, I suggest you figure it out. Silence. Finally, Ryan spoke, voice tight. Fine. We'll pay. Matty's head snapped toward him. Ryan, we don't have a choice, Matty. Laura leaned back. You have 72 hours. As they left, Matty paused at the door, looked back at me. For a moment, I thought she might apologize. Instead, she said, I hope you're happy, Steve. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The conference room felt colder after they left. Laura packed her files, professional as always. They'll pay, she assured me. People like that always do when the walls close in. I nodded, but inside, I felt hollow. Victory, I was learning, doesn't always feel like winning. 3 days later, the money hit my account. All of it. Laura had structured the settlement to include a lien on Ryan's business assets and Matty's future earnings. They liquidated the Audi, the jewelry, even furniture from the Cherry Creek condo. But the fallout went further. Ryan's wife, armed with our lawsuit evidence, filed for full divorce and won a massive settlement. Ryan lost his business. Riverside Holdings dissolved. He moved out of state, somewhere in Texas, I heard. Matty, broke and alone, moved back in with her mother in Phoenix. I bought a new house, a smaller place in Boulder, closer to the mountains. I didn't want the old one back. Too many ghosts. One evening, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Steve. Matty's voice, small and broken. What do you want? I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For all of it. I stared out my window at the Flatirons, purple in the twilight. You're not sorry, Matty. You're just sorry you got caught. She didn't argue. Goodbye, Matty. I hung up. Blocked the number. That night, I stood on my back deck, watching the stars emerge over the Rockies. The air was crisp, clean. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. The house in the suburbs was gone, but so was the weight of betrayal. I'd traded square footage for peace of mind. It was a fair exchange. Laura called the next morning with news. Matty had tried contesting the settlement. The judge dismissed it immediately. Justice, it seemed, had a long memory. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my living room in Boulder, a fire crackling in the stone hearth. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, just coffee here and there with a flight attendant named Rachel who makes me laugh. Life is quieter now. Simpler. Laura Crane called last week. Matty tried to appeal the settlement. The judge dismissed it in under 5 minutes. I sometimes think about that night at the Capitol Grill, the look on Matty's face when she realized I knew. Part of me still wonders if I missed the signs earlier, if I could have stopped it. But mostly, I've made peace with it. She made her choices. I made mine. The house is just a house. What mattered, what I learned, is that trust, once broken, can't be refinanced or redeemed. You either rebuild from scratch, or you walk away. I chose to walk away. And honestly, I've never felt more free. But late at night, when I'm alone with my thoughts, I still wonder, was Ryan the first? Or just the first I found out about? I guess I'll never know. And maybe that's for the best. Yesterday, my younger brother called from Atlanta. He sounded strange, nervous. "Steve, we need to talk about something I did. Something I've been hiding for years." My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" He hesitated. "Not over the phone. Can you fly out next weekend?" I agreed, but as I hung up, dread settled in my chest. Another betrayal brewing. Another secret about to explode. Some stories, it seems, never really end. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like and share.